welcome. Reiki with Will here, Angela Speed. And today we're going to talk about change. We're going to talk about change and not necessarily how to handle it but how we can handle it. How do we handle it? I guess that's the question. And we're going to pose ideas. We're going to tell a story. But we'll just talk about change because change is the only constant. Because we have to deal with change. Okay, so the story first is that we are in Lima. We're in Lima, Peru. We came to Peru to go to Machu Picchu, to do some channeling in Machu Picchu, to do some blessings in Machu Picchu, and to go to Cusco, do some channelings in Cusco, do some blessings in Cusco, and then go up to Puno and do some blessings and do some channelings in Puno on Lake Titicaca. Well, and we received our agenda from Spirit, and we set our expectations, we got hotels, we got a whole bunch of things. We're at altitude, okay? And the effects of altitude and how they affect our bodies is paramount. It's important. And although we set our expectations and we checked in with Spirit to see if it would be okay, the Sacred Valley in Machu Picchu are around 7,500 feet, and Machu Picchu is 8,000 feet. Cusco is 11,500 feet, and Puno and Lake Titicaca is around 13,500 feet. Anything over 4,000 feet, the atmospheric pressure and the lack of oxygen start to have effects on our body. Well, Angi started to feel effects. She started to feel effects. She was pretty much okay in the Sacred Valley, but she had other incidents that happened. And she was okay enough in Machu Picchu, but when we went up to Cusco at 11,500 feet, and there were places there that it's 12,000 feet, that the effects of the altitude started to really work and drain on Angi. And while we were at the airport ready to go up to Puno, up to 13,500 feet, Angi started feeling the effects of several days at 11,500 feet, and we couldn't proceed to Puno. So what do we do? That's change, okay? Even for the people who are spiritual or not spiritual, it doesn't matter, because we have to deal with change. How do we deal with our expectations? How do we deal with what we were hoping to achieve, what we were looking forward to achieve, no matter how benevolent it is, or no matter how, in quotes, selfish these desires or expectations are? How do we deal with it? And how do we actually handle it and stay in our joy? How do we not allow the change to put us in a funk, I guess? So let's first ask, how did you feel when you were at the airport in Cusco?
I was not feeling well at all.
Okay. And? But?
I knew that I couldn't go forward anymore. I couldn't go any higher in the altitude. But my ego wanted me to stay and be with the group, but then my understanding said it would not be in my best interest. So when Will suggested that I go back down to Lima, I was a little bit discouraged that I could not proceed. But then I accepted that the change had to happen, and that there's always reason for everything and why we go and directions. And with that change, it was difficult, but I accepted it.
Yes, and that's what we do as humans, is that sometimes I'm glad that you noticed that you were pushing on beyond your physical limits, okay? And that our ego is so ingrained in, here's the schedule, here's what we have to do. I want to resist the change. I'm going to push forward, and I'm going to push against this immovable object to try to get this thing to move, okay? Because darn it, we need to get on the other side of this immovable object. We're just going to push harder. Can we use the irresistible force on this immovable object? And we got to the point where it's just like, okay, I love Angi. She can't, it's not worth risking death over, okay? Because she couldn't make it. So it got to a point where it was like, okay, we need to get to a lower altitude, and no matter how much. So this was equally on me as it is on Angi. So Angi had to do a check. Okay, can I allow myself to go to a lower altitude, even though the rest? So the rest of the group proceeded on to Puno, and we needed to get to a lower vibration. A lower altitude, not a lower vibration. And so, and although I had expectations, and I had plans, and I had blessings I had to do, I had all these other things that I had to do, okay? And I wanted to see the channelings that were happening at the Stargate, Wayamarika, and I wanted to go back to Lake Titicaca. I wanted. My ego was involved. But the change was necessary. So how do we deal with it? How can we not allow it to affect us adversely is the question. So let's go back to the KISS method, keep it simple, spirit. And how do we, because we know that when we're in alignment, we're in our joy, okay? And so those are some of the tests that we can do. If we're pushing forward because we've got this agenda and we've got our check boxes that we need to check, are we pushing forward just to check those boxes, or are checking off these boxes in our joy? So that's one test that we can do. And okay, check in with your heart. What does our heart say in that situation? And if we take a moment and we breathe and we return to the peace and we find the joy in this situation, in this now, then our ego gets set aside, and we start getting the balance in our heart again. And we start using wisdom from the Divine Feminine when we are making our decisions, our actions, the Divine Masculine. Can we do it in a balanced way? Or are we going to continue to march and check off because do. I got to check these things off. So, and by no means are we trying to tell you what to do. That's why we check in with our heart. And because each now is different, and each now is, even if we're experiencing the same now, her perception of this now is different than my perception of this now. Okay? As an athlete who's done Ironman, there's plenty of ego checks. There's completion checks that we need to do. Do we need to eat? Do we need to stop and rest? Do we need to stretch? Do we need to quit? Okay, these are all checks that we do. And sometimes we push on, and we push on, and we push on. And there are so many videos on YouTube about Ironman and pushing on, or ultra marathons, or whatever. And some of them are spectacular. How did this one individual continue to push on to achieve the goal, regardless of how they felt? And but we need to ask those questions. What's the real goal here? Can we achieve it? Is pushing through the valid option in this now? But the answer for me and the answer for her may be different. Okay? And the answer for me and the answer for you may be different. And there's no way to predict in any future now. And there's no sense in second guessing any past now. We've learned, or have we learned? How can we assimilate that, the information from those nows, to just help us, one, either be at peace in this now, or make better choices in our future nows. So I've been doing a lot of talking. Do you have anything to say?
When you're put in front of different challenges, being able to assess and see what is the best thing. And sometimes the best thing is a change versus staying with the plan. There may be a bigger lesson or a bigger information that comes from it, whether it be gathering of information or just an understanding that change may be necessary for the future. And so, if you understand and accept that, it just builds on who you are.
Water is life. I need a drink. Stay hydrated, my friends. And some of us give up entirely too easily. And only you know in this now what is the right answer for you. Or only our hearts really know what is the right answer. Are we resisting because our egos say to resist? Or sometimes do we need to resist more because that's what we need to learn in this now, is how to overcome the obstacles. And maybe the obstacle is the change that we need to consider / deal with in this now. And as we consider it, sometimes, so I like the wall. I like the analogy of the wall that's in front of us. Sometimes we sit there and we stare at the wall, but the wall is 3 feet wide. But the problem is the wall. And we go, no, my instructions were to walk in a straight line. And I'm going to follow this straight line, and there's this wall in front of me. And so now we start to problem solve, but the wall is 20, 30 feet high. How do I get over the wall? Because I still consider that a straight line. But when the solution is obvious, take 2 steps to the left, and the wall is not there anymore, and go around the wall. Okay? And sometimes the wall is only 4 inches high. Okay? But it's really wide, so we can't go around the wall. But stepping over it is the easy solution. Okay? And sometimes the wall is paper thin, and maybe it's 30 feet high, and it's miles wide. But the solution is to punch through the paper. Okay? Who knows what the solution is? And sometimes it's backtrack and go to a different juncture and make a different decision. Sometimes it's just turn right around and quit. Sometimes it's stop right where you are and get on the phone and call for a helicopter rescue. Like if you're in the middle of the mountains, you've fallen in the chasm. There's nothing you can do at that point. You can try to get out, but it's how do we deal with either problems or change? And all these things can be applied to every aspect of our lives, whether it's how do I deal with I'm barely making money, I'm living paycheck to paycheck, and I'm handling all my bills, and either you have a big bill, either a medical bill, or you need a new roof on your house, or you need siding, or whatever it is, that's this new expense. It's a change. How do we deal with it? And does it need to be done? Does it not need to be done? How do we use our wisdom when we make our decisions, and how do we handle the change? And the only breathing and pausing is the only way that I can successfully do it. And am I trying to solve the problem just because it's a problem and I love to solve problems? Okay? Or is it, this is a problem for a different day. It's a problem for a different now. I don't need to solve it. And anyway, so Angie and I are now down at sea level in Lima. She's feeling a million times better. But what do we do? Okay? We no longer have an agenda of what we have to do. So either we can do whatever. Let's go see Lima. Let's eat some food. I don't know what we're going to do. Or let's just, the blessings we were going to do up there, can we do them down here? Can we change the physical location and still set our intentions to do those blessings or create that awesomeness up there? Or are there opportunities for creating awesomeness down here? Okay? Is it now the opportunity to fly by the seat of our pants and do whatever? I don't know. But here's an opportunity for us to continue in our wonderment. This is almost like a huge blessing, because now we have no agenda, okay? But we have time, this concept of time, So we have time that needs to pass before our flight home, okay? There's time that needs to pass before we're reunited with the others. So now we have a free and open agenda, and we can proceed with wonderment if we choose to. I wonder what things are going to happen. Or I wonder what opportunities that we're going to encounter. I wonder what spontaneous blessings are going to happen. Last night, we did a blessing. We knew we needed to go do a blessing. And I just felt, let's go to this park over here. John F. Kennedy Park in Lima. Exactly. But when we got there, it's like the cat park. Every stray cat, pretty much in the area, comes to that park, and the strangers, the people come there and feed them. And there had to be, 100 cats, easily. And they were so cool. They were friendly cats. They weren't mean. And we saw one at the beginning when we sat down, because Angie needs to rest. Okay, it took, almost a mile to walk there. We walked really slowly. But when we saw the first cat, we're going, a cat. So I'm talking a lot. Do you have anything to say about that? Okay.
I love cats.
Me too. But we knew we were in the right location, but we didn't know the exact location or the precise time. And then after wandering around, we saw a little bazaar, several tables with little bits of wares going on, and we bought some things. We still didn't know when the time was, but then when we walked past it, we both got it at the same time. Now. And we both started to do our own thing in synchronicity, which was really funny, but But it was a really cool evening last night. And I like the fact that Angie was starting to feel better last night. That one, we weren't sitting in the hotel room the whole time. And that we actually went out and we were walking, and that she could walk a whole mile there and a whole mile back. So that was awesome, which she wouldn't be able to do. Her walking around in Cusco was, I can walk a quarter mile, but then I gotta sit. So good. Well, now we know the limits. Angie's not allowed to go over 7,500 feet. Okay, but maybe for a short time, but then we got to go back down.
Right.
Cool. So now we can use that to help plan any future adventures. But now that we're at sea level, the world is our oyster. I don't really like oysters. I just have to swallow them. I can't. Exactly.
I have something to say.
Okay, go ahead.
So no, actually, I don't know. Sakania sanawana siania to kuana asanu achishania to kuana, anania to kua asania to kua.
Well said. Chika atskohata. Shashaya kanana ohukawa shishi. Yarana arisi koha. Yakahashishia kawana husky shasha. Yaya kanana iski atadesahai. And basically, only you know. You and your heart know. You and spirit know. So why don't you ask spirit? In that now. And if it's not that now, don't worry about it. Because the past and the future don't belong in this now. This now is awesome enough as it is. And the only way to fully experience this now is to be in this now. No matter how awesome you see tomorrow is going to be, or next week, or next year. I mean, it's like, remember being a kid and you're anxious about Christmas, or you're anxious about your birthday. There you go. That's non-secular. You're anxious about your birthday. I wonder what gifts I'm going to get. And that anticipation, I don't think there's anything wrong with the anticipation. But if we're setting expectation, I need that red wagon. I need that red wagon. And when you don't get your red wagon, how do you feel? How do you deal with that change? You've set expectations, and how do you deal with it? Again, that tomorrow is a different now. Can we fully experience today, in this now, for all that it has to offer? And can we engage it in wonderment? We got the perfect opportunity today because, hey, we have a plan, but then again, it's a plan. I don't know how it's going to unfold, but I want to engage in this unfolding with wonderment and curiosity. Okay? All of our taxi drivers have been totally awesome. Okay? We've manifested those, but we've also engaged in conversation with them.
Only him. I don't speak Spanish.
Some of them spoke English. And even with limited Spanish, you can still engage in their spirit.
Absolutely.
And you can still engage in their positivity. And a smile, every language in the world knows what that is. Chica asko na watani disesa. Yaria kohuka awa hasita. Yara kuhuta. Yakasanehi sakari sokuhuna tashishi. So instead of repeating ourselves, what will happen today for you? I wonder what will happen for you. How are you engaging in the now and the future now? Any final words?
Nope.
Just a nod and a smile. Mm-hmm. There you go. No words were necessary. Why fill this empty space with words? Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing in our highest bliss. And I thank you for sharing the misfortune, the misadventure with everyone, with an open heart, and sharing the experience. So namaste, my friends. Unlimit yourselves. And make it a great day. Because why would you leave it up to anyone else?